Hello everybody, this is Pete from PA Labs, and today I'm doing a video on application niceties. And niceties, it sounds like, I guess, an okay word. Some of this is kind of mandatory, especially if you're building products, but you may want to have it on your own anyhow. So in the first one of these is going to be your build versions, your major, minor, build and compile, or compile and build, however you want to think of it. And how does that happen, and how does it get into your application? And part of the solution here is the PureBasic IDE. So uh, if you open the compiler options, or you can do it menu, compiler, and then compiler options, or the toolbar, they have a constants folder. Okay. Now the constants folder automatically has compile count and build count. Now you may be asking what the difference of those is. A compile is every time you hit F5 or every time you run the program at all, it counts. Okay. So throughout all of your testing, that's just a counter that's sitting out there, adding up, adding up, adding up. Every time you do a compiler build all targets or build a selected target, that's when it increments the build count. Okay. So in addition to those, you should set up a major and minor. And I'll go ahead and delete these just to get rid of them. And I'll show you how you set them up. You come down to the little space bar here and type in pound major and say equals 1, and then hit add, and then modify it and say minor equals 1, or maybe you want to start it off at 0. We'll go with 0. And you can add that. And basically you're done. Now, PureBasic's not going to play with your custom constraints or custom constants, excuse me. They're just there. And when you decide you've got a major update or a minor update, and maybe you've added a feature, then you can increment them manually. Okay, that happens as it happens. Now, how do you get those values into your program? All right, and that's a simple block of code. And just to make, oops, nope, wrong way. There we go. We'll make that really big. So you can say current major equals pound major. Well, what did I set up over here? We set up over here in constants pound major. Look at that. All we got to do is reference it by name. To get the build count, that's PB editor build count and PB editor compile count. Okay. So that's how you get your build values. Now, one of the things I suggest strongly is to have a global work version. I have, and it'll be in the Ultimate Map Maker. I have this version class, and all it is a single class on the database that holds 4 or 5, if you count the ID, um, uh, integer fields. It's just a single table with a single record that handles updating the current build. Doesn't track when it changed, doesn't. All it does is keep the current build of the current application. So if we come up here to where, let's see, somewhere, oh, here he is. So up here, I've got the include version. And then below that and below my, where is it? Oh, about. That's right. About has to come after it because I use the current work version. This is the version of my application. I use that variable in the about box. So we've got to define it prior to the about box being loaded. So all this does is say version find record one and then update record one and save. So every single time you run your program, he's updating to the current version because every single time you run your program, those numbers change. So that is how you keep track of what your current version is. Now, I think I've run this. I'm not sure if I've run this yet. So I put the database table out there. Okay, so we have the application and we can come over here to, oh, sorry, not help index, duh. That's the next topic, is the about box. And the about box is listing our current version, okay? And that's coming straight off the variable that we have. We set up 10. We've done 8 manual builds. If I come over here and do a compile build all targets, and oops, of course it built on the other screen. So he just built the target for me. And now we should move from 8 to 9 on the builds. And that is how you keep up with, without having to keep up with, your build versions. Okay. We go to about, and yep, look at that. We're on build 9. So there's one of the awesome little niceties that every program in the world really should have, especially if you're distributing it. That way you can always ask a client, what version of the app are you on? How far back are they? Kind of concept question. And they always go, well, where do I find version? Well, it's in your about box, which also means, guess what? You get to build an about box and populate those fields, however you want to do it. So anyhow, that concludes this particular video on niceties, and I will bring up another one shortly.